Okay, I'd like to say a few words before we show, because basically I don't make speeches. I will show a few color slides, images, and you should ask question, and I will try to answer question. And one thing I always remember when Jean-Claude and myself were doing presentation like that, she was always saying that we're born, myself and Jean-Claude, the same day, the same year, 13th of June, 1935, by two different mothers. I met Jean-Claude in Paris in 1958, and we immigrated to the United States. Jean-Claude was saying, no, we do not immigrated to the United States, we immigrated to New York City, Manhattan. And we're still living there for over 50 years, the same building, the same place. Now, I will show some images of works we did for the last 50 years, and of course, images about the floating pier. And I really like to ask me question and to answer question. And I will answer any question, but I will not talk about religion, politics, and not certainly about other artists. Thank you very much. Now we'll make it dark, and I will tell you things. All dark. Even that dark. Okay. In 1969, we did project in Australia called Rap Coast near Sydney, Australia. We covered 2.5 kilometers of coastline with high cliffs and sandy beaches. In 1972, we did Valley Curtain in the state of Colorado. East Slope in Colorado was curtain 80 meters high and 360 meters on main foundation. In 1976, we finished the running fence. The project in Northern California, 5.5 meter tall fence running for 40 kilometers, Sonoma Marin County, and western extremity of the project disappearing for 0.5 kilometer in California, in the Pacific Ocean. Here's the Rap Walkway in Kansas City, Missouri, a loose park. In 1978, we covered 4.5 kilometer walkway in that park in the smack of the city in Missouri. And in 1983, we did a surrounded island. This is the project in the Biscayne Bay, Florida. We surrounded 11 islands with 650,000 square meters of pink fabric. The fabric was attached to the beach area, floating about 75 meters on the surface of the water, ending with octagonal-shaped boom. In 1985, after 10 years and 2 refusals, we finally wrapped the oldest bridge in Paris, 450-year-old bridge in Paris, the Pont Neuf, for 2 weeks, and end of September. Actually, the bridge was littered because it was a historical monument. And in 1991, we realized project in 2 parts, like a diptych. We installed 1,340 blue umbrellas in the state of Ibaraki, north of Tokyo, and 1,760 umbrellas in Los Angeles, in Kern County, north of Los Angeles. The umbrellas was in 7 meter height and 9 meter diameter, and there was the 90 umbrellas standing in Sato River in Japan, and the umbrellas in California was all around Interstate 5 going to Sacramento. And in 1995, after 25 years and 3 refusals, finally we wrapped the Reichstag in Berlin with 100 square meters of silver color fabric and 10 kilometers of rope. And the project stayed for 2 weeks, and it was visited by 5 million people. And in 1998, we wrapped the 178 tree in the park of Berover Park in Fondation Baylor in Switzerland. And there was the sunny days, there was winter, and there was the sunset. Working? Not working. Okay. And finally, in 2005, after 26 years working of the Gates project and 2 refusals, finally we installed 7,503 gates and 27 kilometer walkway in Central Park. We have a different width of the walkway. The gates was always 6.5 meters high. We have a sunny days, and we have even snow in this February of 2005. And finally, turn back to show. This is the southern part of Central Park going south to the Manhattan Empire State Building up there. And now I will talk about the works in progress. This is the two projects we're working called Over the River, the project for Arkansas River in Colorado and eastern slope of the Rocky Mountains. We like to install 10 kilometers of fabric panels in 8 different locations. And to see the project, you need to rafting in the river or from the road. We take you 1 hour driving in the road and near 4 hours rafting inside of the project. Now, for many years before that, I did a lot of work involving oil barrels. This is one of the first collaboration, Jean-Claude and myself, we did in 1962 called The Wall, the Iron Curtain, just a work of art who was installed in Paris on the left bank 1 year after Berlin Wall was done. And this is another structure in barrels. When you stack horizontally barrels, create this geometric form called mastaba. You have 2 slanted wall and 2 vertical wall. And that is the origin of the project we try to do. This is the 13,000 barrels and museum in Germany, who is actually can take the elevator to see that museum from above. Now, this is all project done with large size oil barrels. And finally, in 1979, we arrived in Abu Dhabi to propose the mastaba of Abu Dhabi. Large structure to be done by 410,000 barrels, a bigger than pyramid of Cheops. We built a model in 1979. The vertical wall is 110,000 barrels, wall like a mosaic of different color, no pattern. And this is the view of that project proposal to be built in the very beautiful area, 120 kilometers inland from Abu Dhabi, in the empty quarter and near oasis of Liva. And now we come, I hope, working machine? Okay. Now, all our project is long history. In the last over 50 years, Jean-Claude and myself, we realized 22 projects, but we failed to get permission for 37. Some project was refused, and we don't like to do it anymore. Some project was refused, and we try to do it. And this is the story of floating pier. The first proposal for floating pier was done to be the delta of Rio de la Plata in Argentina, 1970. We never get permission. Now, through the year passed, and Jean-Claude and myself, we were always eager to do that project. And after the Reichstag, we proposed to install floating pier an area of Tokyo Bay, an area of Daiba. And we worked very hard between 96, 97, but we failed to get the permission from Tokyo government. And finally, I say to our friends here that I became 8 years old in 2015, and I hope to realize that project that Jean-Claude and myself were dreaming so many years. Between 1958 and 64, we lived in Paris, and we exhibited very much in Italy. We did public project in Italy. We did it the Spoleto in 1968, we wrapped the fountain at Piazza Mercato. And Rome, we did the monument of Vittorio Emanuele, a monument of Leonardo. And finally, in 1974, we did the Roman wall and end of Via Veneta, Villa Borghese. Hoping that after 40 years returning to Italy, I will be more lucky to get permission. And this is how the story of the floating pier started. Okay. I know these lakes from the late 50s, early 60s, but one of the most important part that we choose Lake Iseo is the third lake of the big lakes and the foot of the Alps. It's a small lake, but you have an island. It's the tallest big island in the lake in Europe. Actually, it's called Monte Isola, meaning island mountain. And you have 2,000 people living in that island, and they have no bridge to go to the mainland. This is the main reason we propose to build floating pier in that area. I'm sorry. Okay, you see very well, a lake running north-south and western extremity going west. And we like to connect that floating pier involving 3-kilometer floating pier, a 2.5-kilometer pedestrian street and town of Solzano and Monte Isola. Choosing that lake, we need to we also involve the island of Sao Paulo, a little island on the left side. And I remember vividly, to get permission is always the biggest problem for us. And we have our old friend from the 60s, dear friend, Germano Celant, And we go to Germano, tell Germano, you're the project director, he helped us how to move the project ahead. And he see, for example, one of the important parts was, I will show you the drawings. Basically, we involve the 2.5 kilometer pedestrian in Sultano in Monte Isola, and 3 kilometer of piers. Actually, the longest piers is 1 kilometer, 100 meters. The important thing is that the people going from island of Monte Isola to the mainland, they have traghetto. For 16 days, for the last 2 weeks, 16 days, the people from Monte Isola was really walking in the water. This is study of all before the project was realized, to give you some idea how they would like to install the piers. And this is the first meeting with the authority of the government, the president of the lake, Mr. Faccanoni. We were helped very much by the Franco Barreto to introduce us. We have a Germano project director. Here is the island of Sao Paulo, evolving. Actually, island is framed with the floating pier. Here, there is, okay. Here's, moment, you turned too many. Okay, next. Okay, evolving the island of Sao Paulo basically is the island who, for the first time we can walk from the Monte Isola to the island of Sao Paulo. Here's the town of Solzano. He's the mayor of Solzano, Mr. Pelosi. And this is the first presentation, Paolo Pelosi, of the project. Here's the mayor of Monte Isola, Fiorello Turla. And finally, we go to the process to build the project. You know, all our works, they're unique image. We never do the same things again. We always try to find how to build this project. This is all preparatory study, but how to build a project cannot be decided in the studio of Manhattan. This is why for all our project, we do live site stays, very small section of the project, secretly, that in a secret place and the lake near the German-Danish border in 2014, we did a live site stays, basically 16 meter wide and 20 meter long floating pier to choose the fabric. We were working with the engineers for the project, Mr. Faccanoni on the right side. Our project director, Marci Ferrari, is here on the right side of Germano. To have all the data for the permission, we moved these cubes. Actually, the entire project is built by 220,000 cubes and 220,000 giant screw. And that is the test to the force of the wind and the anchors and the Black Sea near a little town of Sozopol in Bulgaria near the Turkish border. Here our engineers connecting to the calculation machine of the computers. And finally, go ahead. This is our chief of construction, Rosen. And you know, the project involved many aesthetical decisions. They're long avenue, actually, of 16 meter wide, who created with the angles. So this is one of the angles, and we need to fabricate it for our project. The project, the floating pier is 16 meter wide, but the 11 meter is totally horizontal, and the left and right side sloping and became like a beach. Okay. This is the most longest and most complicated working process, because we need to fabricate these 220,000 cubes and 220,000 giant screw. We need to find place to park these things. This is a little peninsula, like you see on Monte Isola, Monte Culino, and this is the diagrams. You know, the cubes, they're 40 centimeter high, 50 by 50 centimeter, and they're connected with this giant screw we show here. I'm sorry, go ahead, fast. Now, that is the area when everything happened. Spectacular working sites, probably one of the most beautiful sites to work. This is our harbor. When our workers from Bulgaria, marvelous workers, member of the Sports Academy of Bulgaria, put together all these 220,000 cubes connected with the screw from December of 2015 to May 2016. They screw together, they're floating, basically for 3 kilometer floating pier, we need to fabricate 30 pieces, 16 meter wide, 100 meter long floating cubes. I'm sorry. This is how the hydraulic screw. Here's how they push to the water. And to have that geometry, I designed it. The engineer designed it to install 190 anchors, 5 tons each, deep down in the water. For some of you who is not from Italy, from the mainland to islands, the water is 90-meter depth, and from the mainland from island to the west bank of the lake, the water is 220-meter depth. This is the glacier from the ice age. This is why it's extremely deep water when the pier floating on the surface of the water. They're very simple, very intelligent. You have a counterweight anchors in the center, diagonal anchors on left and right. And how these anchors were transported, this marvel is very ingenious. They're all transported by airlift bags. In these bags is 5 tons anchor float underneath. And we built a special barge. This is the French and Bulgarian deep water diver. They go down to the water to install this anchor and to later connect the anchors to the floating piers. You see typical installation of this anchor down to the water. All that is manufactured for the project. Go to the drawings. Go, okay. Go more. Okay. And here. Okay. No, return back. Okay. This is, you see, our staging area on the right side. This is how we park. We need to park 15, 30 pieces, 100-meter longs of the floating pier, after that to be transported to the right side of the project. Here they park, from there they float by boats, pushing by boats. I'm sorry, the machine is not working. Okay, it's typical, our barge, working barge, pushing that 100 meters long, 60 meter wide. Here's how they push around and frame the island. Here how they make connection. This is the cubes, because over these cubes later we will install underlayer of fabric and finally our yellow fabric. Our yellow fabric was fabricated in Germany. Finally you see the project. There are 2.5 kilometers pedestrian street, even around the city hall of Sulzano. We rented the parking that people can walk there. You have the view of the islands, visiting by 1.2 million people for the last 16 days. And this is the view, general view. This is the street, little street, and Sulzano. And this is another view, connection from the mainland to the island. And this is how the project was done. One of the most important things to understand, I hope, what is very unusual on that project. I hope you looking that. People walking more 750 meters underwater. There are no barrier. There are no parapet. The water is 90-meter depth. Okay. And this is that the project was lit by portable lights that we installed by our monitors around 9, 10 o'clock in the evening. And this is how the project was running around the clock for the 16 days. And this is satellite view of the 80 kilometers from the European agency, how the project looked. Now I will answer question. Thank you. I go there, but I need somebody to help me if I don't understand the question. Feel free to ask questions, but I will have Pier Luigi. If I don't understand the question, because my English is not very good, my French is not very good, but I have Piero Lucchi here. Okay, please, how can...
Okay, good morning. My name is Carlos Brandão from São Paulo, Brazil. And first, as a museum professional and art lover, I would like to thank you very much for your work, who has inspired us for the last years. And I've seen that you have never wrapped a museum. As appointed director of Museum of Contemporary Art in São Paulo, Brazil, I would like to offer my museum for you to wrap.
No, you know, I show you some selected material of our works. But I can tell you, the story of the Rap Museum is longer like all our projects. I tried to wrap public building in middle of the 60 tall building in New York City. We never get permission. And of course, the chance to wrap the museum was more possible because art institution can do that. And I can give credit to Italy that the first art institution tried to be wrapped was the Museum of Rome, Galleria Nazionale Arte Moderna, and director of that museum, Palma Bucarelli, who was very eager to make the first wrapped public building museum in Italy, but we never get permission. After that, that is in the mid-60s. After that, of course, the Museum of Modern Art tried to be the first wrapped public building in New York City. Professor Rubin, the chief curator of Modern Art Museum, tried to wrap the building. We never get permission. But in 1967, there was the adventurous Swiss director of the little Kunsthalle in Bern, Switzerland, called Harold Zeman. Harold Zeman do everything, and finally the first public building we wrapped, Jean-Claude and myself, was the Kunsthalle in Bern in 1968. There was another second building, Museum of Contemporary Art in Chicago, 1969, and this is the only museum I will wrap ever. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Daniel Castro from Colombia, and we've just heard about Pamuk's innocence. I like to ask you how you keep innocence with these huge projects.
Yeah. Okay.
How can you keep your innocence?
I would answer that question. You know, I was brought and lived in Bulgaria during the communist time, and I'm also Czech. I escaped from a communist country, from Czechoslovakia, where I'm quarter Czech, to the West in 1957. I was alone, no relatives, no parents, no uncles, no anybody in the West. I escaped. I was a student in the Arts Academy to do art free. And I will not give 1 centimeter of my freedom on my project. This is why all these projects, they're financed by me, myself and Jean-Claude. No industry, no donors, no anybody. We do what we like to do. Nobody can commission for work. All the projects, they copyright and trademarks. Nobody can use the image for commercialization. All this project is our decision. And this is why they're whimsical, they're absolutely irrational, totally useless. Nobody needs this project. Myself and Jean-Claude need this project, and if somebody likes it, it's only a bonus. The world can live without ballet curtain, without wrap costs. Nobody needs that. And this is why this project cannot stay. They're really an expression of total freedom. Nobody can buy them. I remember when we get the permission for the floating pier, there was Americans think we are totally stupid, do not charge tickets to people walking in the piers. No, the piers was absolutely free, and all our work is like that. And it's difficult, but we can do, and I'm 81, and we're still doing totally free project.
One more.
Hello.
Hello? Okay. May I? Yeah.
Where's the lady? Where is
I am here.
who's talking? The lady who stands or no?
Yeah, my turn? My turn?
Who's the
Okay, here. Look at
Where's
me.
the lady?
Hello. Okay, first
Yeah,
of
that's
all,
the lady, yeah.
I'd like to tell you that my museum is not exhibiting your drawings. And I hope you come to my museum to cover up the whole building in the future. And my name is Kanai Aoki from Japan, Wakayama City. And I am so thrilled to see your artworks or all kinds of projects, because all the artworks you make make me to feel that the earth or the nature or the whole earth is so small with your hands, and the difference or the conversion of the size or scale thrills me very much. And how small the earth is for you, it can be really stupid question, but sorry. And for you, the earth is small or too big to have much to do more. Thank you.
Big statement. But you know, I'm like trained artist. I do drawings, collages, scale models. But you should read our project. If you read our project, you understand there are many facets not usually used in visual arts. Like, for example, when we wrap the Reichstag, we wrap a building, and the first critic of New York Times was not art historian, was architectural critic, because wrap Reichstag was type of new architecture. Basically, many of our projects have the element of urbanism, architecture, painting, and sculpture. They all combine. I study architecture. You understand, they are not only visual art of painting and sculpture. Like the floating piers project on multi-levels. I say that not because I like to say that, but also to get the permission is very much like a building highway or bridge. Is involving logistic of our project. They have it exactly logistic of architecture and urban planning. And if you read the project and totally, you understand this work, they're very physical, not virtual. No painting, no sculpture, physical. For example, floating piers, I was not sure that the people would like to walk, but we have 1.2 million people walking in a floating pier, and they're walking to go nowhere. They was not walking to go to shopping mall, to see friends. They're literally walking to go nowhere because the project was entirely on their feet. And their feet, the work of art was their feet. They removed their shoes, and there was nothing around them except water and the surface who was covered and was reflecting the movement of the water. And this project developed their dimension that myself and the friends who help us do the project never can imagine. Their open dimension absorbs so many interpretations, and this is why we like to do this project. They're bigger than our imagination.
Hello, my name is Žana Vukičević, curator at the Museum of Contemporary Art of Republic of Srpska in Banja Luka. It is very impressive, this huge contrast between temporary character of your works and the very hard work behind the final product to achieve something beautiful to people to enjoy. The question is, can we say that really beauty and joy is a true essence of art? Does it exist now in a contemporary art these days? Thank you.
Yes, thank you. This is a statement, no?
No, this is a question. It's for you. Beauty and joy.
Yes, of course. Beauty and joy is absolutely, Jean-Claude was always saying, all our project is about beauty and joy. And of course, it's not very fashionable today because all the art today is propaganda. Most of the contemporary art is about religion, religious propaganda, or environmental propaganda, or any propaganda. Even that is propaganda. This is coming from communist country. I'm allergic of propaganda. I like to do art who is totally useless, really, totally irrational, irresponsible, not justifying. The world, I say, the world can live without this project. This is why art is something only humans can do, and I like to do it to the end of my life.
Thank you very much.
The lady here.
Hello, my name is Asli. I'm an external consultant to the Ministry of Culture and Tourism of Azerbaijan, and I have a very short question to you about past, present, and future. What is the project that you regret the most of not making? What is the most challenging project that you've made? And what is the project that you dream of? Thank you.
You know, the project, I tell, in 50 years, we failed to get permission for 37 projects. Some projects stay in our heart, we like to do it. Some projects we lost interest. Why should do it? It's our money, our pleasure, we will not do it. And of course, the most challenging project, always the permission is most challenging. It's the most difficult, most difficult. The gates take us 26 years, one refusal, but the biggest problem to get permission was in the Berlin Reichstag project, would take us 25 years, and 3 times was refused. And I can tell you, on this period of getting permission, we need to work very hard to get permission, but we need to also have a luck. Now, I tell you the story of the Reichstag very fast. We have a 3 refusal in 1977, 1981, and 1987. We go to 3, the permission of the Reichstag was in the hand of the Speaker of the House, President of the Parliament, or President of Bundestag, and we go to 6 President of the Parliament, and these 25 years, of different party, left and right-wing party. And 1988, the President of Parliament was the member of Christian Democratic Party, Professor Dr. Rita Susmuth. And always I say, if Mrs. Susmuth was not elected, the project will never happen. Now, even that she was from the Conservative Party, she chartered our permitting process to get the permission. It was very difficult because the Prime Minister of Germany, or Chancellor of Germany, Mr. Kohl, was absolutely against the wrapping of the Reichstag. And there was a 70 minutes debate in the Parliament of Bundestag in Germany, televised to all Germany, and we defeated the Chancellor of Germany, who gave order that all the parties should vote against the project. The principal speech against the Reichstag was delivered by the very important politician today in the European Union, 17 minutes speech against the wrapping of the Reichstag. And many years later, the important newspaper of Germany asked Mr. Schauble if in every moment in his life he did wrong decision, yes, to give a speech against the wrapping of the Reichstag. And this is why that is the most difficult project. I remember Mrs. Susmuth was sure that we're losing in the parliamentary debate, and I was so furious that the government asked me to do a press conference after the decision of Parliament, and I insist that she will be not in the Bundestag, will be in the museum. That time the capital of Germany was Bonn, and the museum was Bonn, and I put it on the back of the auditorium, already the work in progress over the river, thinking I would say, I have enough of Germans, I go to over the river. But we win, and we did the Reichstag.
Thanks a lot. And what about the future?
Hello.
About the future.
As a future, I show you there are 2 projects, probably I talk too fast, over the river for Arkansas River in South Colorado, in Mastaba of Abu Dhabi. We work since 1979.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, hello, it's Paul Mork from Norway. Just a short practical question.
Where is the gentleman?
I'm here.
Where is the gentleman?
In the very back.
there.
Yeah.
And then,
my just short question. Can we still go to the lakes and walk on the floating piers?
The time is over. There was 3 weekends, just the last day was yesterday. It's like everything in our life, and this is the important, this project, they exist in this incredible short time because nobody can own it. Even myself, we don't own them because the freedom is against the possession, and possession is equal to permanence. This is why this project is like a moment of our life, but also you should understand the work of art is not the object, the thing 16 days. The work of art is the journey, all the journey to there. Some projects take like 26 years for the gates. All the 26 years is the work of art. And all our projects have these 2 distinct periods, the software period and the hardware period. The software period, when the work do not exist, exists in the mind of people who try to stop us, in the mind of people who try to help us. And for many, many years, people think how awful it will be and how beautiful it will be. Imagine What artist can say that he have a so great public and people think about something do not exist? And this is the story of this project. The hardware period is when we move to the reality of the project, 1 kilometer, 2 kilometers, the wind, the sun, all the real physical world. And these two moments, they are the work of art. This is why I always say, and all our projects, we put the 2 date, like in the Reichstag 1971, 1995, because all these years is the work of art. Yes?
Hello. Just a little
The lady, yes.
My name is Shedlia Nabi. I am from the Museum of Carthage in Tunisia. And I would like to ask you, what are the criteria for choosing a site or monument for creating this beautiful
There are no criteria. It's like real painters. Real painters go to his studio, have a huge white canvas, you like to fill it with colors. There are no rules. But of course, you can see, and this is the exhibition our friend Germano Celant organizing in the Museum of Brescia, when they really understand the links on many of our works. And this is why very beautiful new museum is the exhibition tracing our relation of many projects between the water, fluidity of the water, and sturdiness of the earth. They are very example, like Rapcos in Australia, meeting the ocean, South Pacific Ocean, the running fence go to the ocean, the surrounded island, the water and earth, and that project, many of these elements there in that project. This is something part of the part of many of our works.
I want to thank you so much for this fantastic. I'm here, very close to you.
Yeah, okay, sir. Yeah.
Yes, for the fantastic work that you've done, the pleasure that you brought to so many people, and the joy. I only have 2 questions. One, you are really a global person. You moved from the southern part of America to North America, to Europe, to Asia and Japan, to Australia. Why have you skipped such a fundamental and fantastic continent of Africa, where you have Kilimanjaro, Mount Kenya, the Nile, the Egyptian pyramids?
No.
Why have you not come to wrap the pyramids or cross the Nile?
I can tell you, Jean-Claude was much better to answer this question, and she have a great humor. You know, I try to explain you. To do this project, we need to have money. The money comes from the sale of original works of art I do with my own hands. I do not have assistant. Every single piece you see in museum and the gallery, they're done by myself, by my own hands. I have no stool at my studio. I'm standing 50 hours a day. I don't have elevator in the industrial building. I walk 90 steps so many times a day. And of course, basically, I have no any other possession except our art. When very few gallery was interested in my work, suddenly myself and Jean-Claude find we're the biggest collector of our work from 1958 today. And we sell these original works, for early works, and of course the drawings and sketches for future projects to collectors around the world. And of course, many people tell us, we love your art, and Jean-Claude asks you, how many works of art you have in your collection? None, you don't like our art. Because to love your art, meaning that the people should buy my art, and with that money, we build projects. I don't come to Italy like that, point at the islands. Since 1958, 60, we have so many friends, so many collections in Italy, and they buying my art, and Germany buying my art, and the United States buying my art. I'm not American. In Japan, I'm not Japanese. They buy my art. I have no collectors in Africa.
Okay, yeah.
Sir, that is a story. Simply, is the need to people come to buy art. I have no collectors in Russia. Why should I go to Russia? I have no collector in China. Actually, when I was doing Floating Pier, I have a call from Chinese cultural magazine. They say, why don't come to China to do the Floating Pier and Lake in China? Why I should go to China? I have no any collectors in China. And because we need money to pay these 16, 17 million euros of that project who cost of our money. Not industry, no, the people who really buy art, and this is the only thing you understand. This is the only way to build our project. There's no mystery. We need to pay. Everything is paid. We pay the workers. There are no volunteers. Everybody is paying our project.
Hello.
Poland.
Hello, my name is Dorota Folga from Warsaw, Poland. We had the pleasure to host you in 1997. My question is, what's your observation? What's your influence on young people? My question is, because when we terminated the exhibition in the National Museum in Warsaw, the youngsters, the students proposed in Warsaw to establish a new kind of university, a university of independent projects.
What's that?
The students in Warsaw after your show established a university of the free ideas.
But you know, I can tell you, I never teach in any university. I refuse to judge any artist because Jean-Claude say, to be artist is not a profession, artist is existence. And who are you to judge my life? Basically, I go only to civil court, I'm obliged to go to civil cases to be jury, but I cannot. And Jean-Claude was very bad answer. She was saying to the young people, they ask her what we should do to do things. Jean-Claude, he can do it. He only need to work very hard. And like us, 15, 16 hours a day, he can do what he like to do. But the big problem is to know what he like to do. And this is why there are no indication what to do, because really art is existence. Actually, in the film of the Gates, of the Mezzel's brother, journalist asked Jean-Claude, but you're now old, why don't retire? Jean-Claude said, no, the artists do not retire, they simply die.
Yeah, Jan Kanze.
Hello, I'm from Moscow Museum of
Jan Kanze
Modern
from
Art.
Switzerland, private ceramic museum.
What museum?
Who?
Hello, this is Vasily Tseretelli from Moscow Museum of Modern Art. I wanted to ask, even though you have very few collectors in Russia now, what would be your favorite project to do in Russia? Thank you.
Is the curator of the Russian Museum of Modern Art in Moscow, yes? What is the question?
Could you say the question?
But the question is, I have no Russian collectors, why they should come?
But if
no,
you had the
but
collectors...
Really, sir, this is not to buy one pieces, they cultivate the relation with us. We have relation with Italy since late 50, early 60. He cannot invent that. We have a relationship with Japan since 1969. He cannot invent that. This is something you need to build the relation, and this is why we do this project. I have no collectors from Russia.
So our
why
effort
I should go
will
to Russia?
be to make more collectors in Russia, definitely.
No, but I
Thank
know
you.
there are more collectors in China. There are many collectors in China and Russia and India and Brazil and all. But they don't collect my art. Why I should go there? This is simple, I tell you. We pay without money. And this is why, if they collect someday, probably, but for the moment, there are no Russian collectors.
Yeah.
Here in the back.
Switzerland. Private
Switzerland.
museum
I
ceramics.
don't know. Where is
With
that?
your permission, a bad question. What about the recycling of your stuff you need?
Recycling.
Yes.
You know, understand, this is very expensive project, like industrial project. They involve huge amount of very valuable material. I can give you an example. To install the gates in Central Park, we bought 5,000 tons of steel to secure the standing gates in Central Park. You don't know what is 5,000. It's 2/3 of the steel of Eiffel Tower. We bought the steel from American company, and still the gates still standing in Central Park. We already sell the steel to the Chinese who need steel to build skyscraper. Basically, all the materials is industrially recycled. Educated Marxists, I use the capitalist system to the end. that we resell the materials for purpose they are done. They are resell for what they earn, and they are very valuable material, and this is how all the materials is industry recycled. Very valuable. For example, I can give you, for the floating pier, we bought 45 rubber boats who cost a lot of money in the engine, but they are very new. Of course, we sell all the boats. We're stupid not to sell them. We bought 250 fabulous invented American lights who can be lit, have a box, and we sell them. They was done in California. The people like to buy right away these portable lights. Basically, they're all valuable industrial material. And the plastic, of course, the plastic is the fabric. For example, the fabric, all the outdoor project, they're done with the artificial fiber. We cannot use natural fiber because not enough strong. When you have a floods in Germany, Rhine River or Mississippi River, you have a sandbags around the coast of the river. They are not done on cotton or linen, these sandbags. They are done industrial textile. It's not clothing textile. And that industrial textile was done for a variety of purposes, agricultural purposes, construction purposes, and various purposes. For example, wrapping cost in Australia, we use the woven polypropylene mesh, who was fabricated for the country in the Southeast Asia when they have a big wind. That fabric, or that fabric woven mesh, is used by the farmers to put over the good earth that the typhoon do not remove the earth and the crop can go through the fiber. After removal of the fabric in Australia, cost in 1969, the fabric go exactly for that use. Very simple.
Hello. Here on the back. My name is Yanis Markakis. I'm from Crete, Greece, from the ICR.
Yeah.
Up here.
Yeah.
I'm director of the Cretan Open Air Museum in Crete, Greece. I'm not a modern art specialist, so I will make a very basic, simple, maybe naive question. Why wrapping? Why wrapping nature, especially? Why wrapping landscapes? Is it a revelation of the aesthetic form? Is it a transformation? Is it a disguise? Okay. Is it an artistic vision or an artist's vice?
No, this is the question. Of course, some project is the wrapping. The umbrella was not wrapping. The gates was not wrapping. Valley curtain was not wrapping. But the principal material of this project is the cloth, the fabric. And the fabric is a principal element to translate nomadic character of the work. The work is fabricated off-site with a lot of material, but final installation of the work is happened overnight. Actually, the floating pier was installed in 10 hours on the 15th of June at 3 o'clock in the morning to 2 o'clock in the 3 o'clock in the afternoon to 2 o'clock in the morning of 16th of June. And this is really the principal material to translate the fragile nomadic quality of the project. They appear and they're gone very fast. But of course, some projects they wrap, like wrap cost in Australia, rice stack. And I can tell you that the wrapping or use of the cloth is a long tradition in history art, like the history of art. For 1,000 years, the artists used the cloth, not the real cloth. It was done on bronze and painting and marble and wood, chisel. Actually, can recognize different style. That in medieval period, the Madonna have much more angular folds, and the Baroque and the Renaissance period, Bernini, Michelangelo, the fabric is more moving in all directions. But the best example of what fabric do in classical art is a story not invented by me, it's a true story. It's the case of French sculptor Rodin, who have a command to do the figure of Balzac. The first version of figure of Balzac or Rodin was totally naked, big belly, skinny legs, and many details. What he did at Rodin, take the cape of Balzac, put it in liquid plaster, and shroud the figure of Balzac. We have in Avenue de Raspail in Paris, Museum of Modern Art in New York. Basically, he hid all the details on the figure of Balzac. He highlighted principal proportion of the figure of Balzac. With our wrapping project, exactly what we're doing. The Reichstag, if you're familiar, is designed by Vallot in the late 19th century with a lot of ornaments, decoration. All these elements of architecture was height, and the principal dimension of the building was translated, but in this enormous amount of fabric, who was not sculpture, but moving with the wind. I will show you images here, but all our projects like living objects, they move continuously with the wind. Even the fabric and floating pier is not secure. A few days ago, actually 2 days ago, we have a big storm. It was spectacular to see how the folds moving on the surface of the floating piers.
Hello.
Yes, okay.
Hello. Yes.
Hello, the young
Hello.
lady there?
Yes. My name is Melissa Rinne. I work in Kyoto, Japan. I'm an American.
Kyoto, Japan, yeah.
Yes. Which are going to be the host city for the next ICOM General Conference in 2019. And my question is, when I saw your Gates project in New York, I was instantly reminded of the beautiful shrine in Kyoto, which has many red torii gates leading up a mountain.
Yeah.
And I wondered if you could speak to the influence of Kyoto on your work. Thank you.
I love very much Japanese art, and of course there are a lot of influence of that. But basically that project was designed to invite people walking in that corridor. And you know, also very important, all our projects, they're season project. They're designed for particular season of the year. Like the Surrounded Island project was spring project before the hurricane came in Miami. The Gates project was winter project. We like to have the leafless tree of Central Park, gray silver branches, and the background of the building in Central Park, and they have these gates popping to the leafless tree. Central Park during the summer is like a forest, and that project was designed for the winter time. Basically, the project is involving the play between the geometry of Central Park, who is surrounded with 100 city blocks, very rectangular shape. That rectangular shape is translated in the form of the gates, where the branches and the walkway in Central Park, designed by architect of the Central Park, they are very organic and very whimsical. That contrast between the branches of the tree and the geometry of the background of the city, 100 city block, and the Olmsted drawings of the walkway in Central Park was combined in the form of the gates. Geometric form, and the fabric was moving in all directions, whimsical. And I remember Jean-Claude was saying, it's a winter project, we're sure there will be no leaves on the tree, but we're not sure that we have a snow. Imagine 16 days, we have twice snow in the Central Park project.
Hello.
Thank you.
Thank
you so much. Thank you.
Hello.
Thank you for your questions, and thank you, Christo, for coming to us and to present the